Hey everybody, how's it going? This is Stargate. This is season 2, episode number 12. This episode is called The Tok'Ra. This is part 2. Last episode we were introduced to these Tok'Ra. We'd heard of them before because Sam had one in her, basically a symbiote in her, without her consent because they were escaping a bounty hunter, a Goa'uld bounty hunter. And this Tok'Ra was called Jolinar. And we learned last episode that she's been left with these thoughts, feelings, memories. She had this vision of them fleeing a world because they're being hunted down by the Goa'uld. And so we have gone to this world because Sam had the coordinates from this vision. We've got there and we've met these other Tok'Ra who live in this like warren of tunnels, and the tunnels are like made from crystals, and the technology, it looks like they grow and it's brilliant. And we know that they are volunteers. They're not people that have been taken. These people have volunteered to hold these symbiotes within them, and they live together. They're blended, as they called it. So it was interesting because obviously they thought that SG-1 had gone there to be volunteers rather than us going there to try and form a friendship or an alliance against the Goa'uld. And they couldn't understand that. They were like, well, why else would you be here if not to be volunteers, to be hosts? And then we've got this situation with Sam's dad, and his cancer has progressed very quickly, and Hammond went to visit him. Sam's off-world. SG-3 have been sent through to the planet to get Sam to go home, but now the Tok'Ra think things are afoot because another group of people have came. They don't trust any of the SGC teams to go back and not say anything about the Tok'Ra because they live in secrecy, and now we're basically stuck here. So it's going to be interesting to see how we even get back, because the Tok'Ra was saying earlier in the episode last time that they'll probably have to move planets again soon. We've got Martooth, who I don't really trust. I think there's something about him that's quite creepy. So there's that to deal with as well. And then we've got Jack following this other Tok'Ra around, and he's got like all of these trinkets in his private quarters and things, and Jack seemed quite suspicious of him. So it's going to be interesting to see how this one resolves itself. So let's go.
Could you at least tell us why you've turned down our request for an alliance?
We have decided that your limited resources do not offer us enough of a reward to risk the high security breach that your knowledge of us will cause.
That's it? So we are prisoners. You're looking like Goa'uld to me.
There's another reason, isn't there? Something else bothers you about us.
That is correct. None of you have volunteered to be host to one of us who is dying.
Ah.
I mean, if you are so disgusted by the very thought of blending, how can we be associated with one another? You will remain here until we say otherwise.
We're gonna get you back there, Carter. The good news is, there's 8 of us now.
That's good news?
Is he going to fight?
Yes. More manpower.
It would be impossible. There is only one way out. Via the rings. We would then have to elude hundreds of Tok'Ra.
I, for one, don't want to hurt any of them.
Look,
she said before she knows
I'm not
most
too
of
thrilled
them.
about hurting anyone either. But keep in
Or
mind, these people want to
recognises
make you a
most of them.
host. And as I recall, you said that whole Jolinar Goa'uld in the head deal was one of the worst things that ever happened to you.
That's before I understood it better. I need to see Garshaw.
Is she going to volunteer?
What?
What is the one thing that they need the most?
Volunteers.
Well, hosts, which we can't give them.
You said that the symbiote can cure most problems in a human.
Yes.
Does that include cancer?
What is cancer?
Oh!
It's a disease in humans where the cells grow out of control. You get tumors.
How is that even
It's a
going to...
common ailment amongst your species. We cure it all the time. It's no problem.
We might have a host for you.
You have a host for Selmak?
Yes.
Maybe.
My father. He's got cancer, and if Selmak can save his life, I think he'd be willing to try it.
But you have to let us go back.
He seems quite stubborn.
I will let 2 of you go,
Oh.
but the rest will remain to ensure that you will return.
Colonel O'Neill, where's Colonel Makepeace, SG-3? They were supposed to extract only Captain Carter.
It's a long story.
We need to talk.
I am truly sorry about your father, but I have to question the wisdom of what you're suggesting here.
Oh, she's desperate.
From what I've seen, this won't exactly be saving his life. It'll be more like giving his body to a ghoul. Jacob knows a lot about Earth, about the U.S. military.
Ah,
this
shit.
would be like handing over that information to the ghoul.
Yeah.
To the Tok'Ra.
And the
You sure there's a
Tok'Ra
difference?
are like worried
Oh,
about
yes, sir,
us
there's
getting
a difference.
information. This is
I won't even
great.
pretend to understand what the difference is, but there is one. One minute you're talking to a ghoul, the next minute you're talking to a regular
Person.
guy.
How do you know it isn't just a trick? We've seen the ghouls speak as humans before.
Well, General, if
Half-full.
these were your everyday run-of-the-mill greasy-ass Gould, it would have made us their host already.
I know my father would want to do this. He would have the opportunity to serve as the liaison between ourselves and possibly the most important ally we will ever have.
Oh, that is actually a good point.
I would like to take this opportunity to express my admiration for your cause. It is both honorable and brave.
Thank you, General. I must say I feel the same about you. To break from Apophis and then turn to fight him shows great conviction of character.
Master Gasha, we just received word from our scout in the Sharanka quadrant. The Gold System Lords have been told where we are. They've dispatched 2 motherships.
They're going to think it was Jack.
Within the day, perhaps hours.
Start the evacuation.
Oh. We're going to get the blame for this.
I told you not to recall her.
Happy to see you too, Dad.
You wanted me to tell you what Captain Carter does. I thought maybe she could tell you herself.
Yeah?
Oh.
What happened to the classification?
It's still classified, but you just got clearance.
He must have had to talk to someone to get that.
Dad, have you ever heard of the Stargate program?
No. Is that one of your satellites?
I don't work with satellites, Dad. That was just a cover.
So tell me, what do you do that's so great you don't want me to get you into the astronaut program?
Well, this is going to be a lot for you to take in at once.
Brace yourself.
I travel to other planets, much farther away than any astronaut goes.
So you're not going to tell me the truth here?
Oh,
She
jeez.
is telling you the truth, Jacob.
She goes to other planets. What, like in simulations?
No.
No, in reality.
We discovered a piece of alien technology.
In
It
Egypt.
can send us to thousands of planets all over the galaxy.
You're not kidding, are you?
No.
So, what do you want me to do?
Well, we'd like you to travel to one of these planets with us.
Why? So I can die there?
No. Actually, I'm hoping what we want you to do will cure your cancer.
He'd be like, oh, I recognize this guy from Washington.
So this is the alien thing you found.
Yep.
And it sends you to other planets.
Chevron 7 locked.
You genuinely wouldn't know what to think.
How about them apples, huh?
Big piece.
All right, Airman, carry on.
What the heck's going on?
We're free.
Then why are you still here?
Well, we want to be allies, right? So we're ready to
Helping.
end with the evacuation.
Oh, what a guy.
What evacuation?
Oh, it reverses.
Chill, Doc.
Direct translation, very cool.
All right, you want to tell me what's going on now?
They're evacuating, so we're free to go.
Why?
The system lords are ready to attack.
This is my father, Jacob Carter.
Honored.
I am Martuf.
Why does he talk like that?
He's a Tok'Ra, Dad. I told you about them.
And that's what you want me to become? You gotta be kidding me.
How'd the system lords find him?
That is unknown.
Yeah,
You talking about a spy here or what?
If
maybe.
that's the case, moving to another planet is not going to do them much good.
Teal, you know those little teleball things?
The long-range visual communications device.
How small do they make those?
I've seen them small enough to fit in the palm of your hand.
Oh,
So I get all of this thing, what did you call it in her head?
Symbiote.
Yeah, I get all its memories and stuff.
Yeah, Dad, something like that.
oh,
I'm sorry.
it's the treatment.
I didn't want my future, I guess you could call her soulmate, to see me like this.
Dad, you don't have to do this.
Yes, I do. My only other choice is death.
I think you might have a spy in your ranks.
The Tok'Ra are loyal for life.
How then were you located by the system lords?
Yeah,
How did you find us?
Well, we did have a spy in our ranks.
John and
Lord
I.
Melkshire, through Captain Carter.
You folks make a habit of walking around with those little
Communicators.
ball dealy. What are they?
He speaks of a long-range visual communications device.
We don't have those. We have no use for them. The system is not secure.
Well, your buddy Kordesh has one.
Yes.
I'm not what I appear to be.
Oh, they know that.
Kordesh is no longer.
You must leave the tunnel and explain yourself, Kodesh.
I don't deserve to remain among the Tok'Ra.
Oh.
Now what?
Kiss me.
You're kidding, right?
No.
Shit. smiling.
He's alive.
Oh!
Excuse me.
Oh, shit! Shit!
What are you doing?
Kordesh said he wasn't who he appeared to be.
Goa'uld can jump host to hide, much as you'll love Melchior.
Oh!
Kodesh,
Shit!
The plague that is the Tok'Ra will soon be wiped out.
attempt to remove Kodesh from the host without harming her, and put this traitor in one of the vanishing tunnels.
All the other Tok'Ra have gone to the new home world. We must go now.
What about my father?
When and if he awakens, Selmak knows where we'll be. He can follow.
He needs to remain stationary until Salmak has completed her repairs.
We can't just leave him here.
I will remain with him.
I'll stay.
You are even more vulnerable since you contain the memories of Jolinar.
They might get them
cannot
out of
allow you
her.
to stay. We must go now.
We have to go.
With respect. No, sir.
I will assure that we will not be taken by the Goa'uld.
Please, Colonel. I need to be here.
Daniel? Yep. Let's go.
Oh, man.
Dial!
Bloody hell, Daniel! Just faster! Move!
Shall we not make our escape?
Yes, we should.
Open the iris.
There will come a time when the Tok'Ra and the people of the Tory will destroy the Goa'uld system lords.
Oh my god, I've got years ahead.
This box has a signature in it we can recognize. Just send it through the gate and we'll know you want to contact us.
Thank you.
I love that they're still handing these out.
Selmak says, let me see if I can translate this. Don't call us. We'll call you.
I really enjoyed this two-parter. I thought it was really interesting. I loved that we got to see Sam's dad go to the Tok'Ra where they were hiding and basically like have a chat with the Tok'Ra that he would have been a host to, Selmak. And speaking to this old lady, this host who was dying, was actually quite a funny scene to watch. Like, I liked the sense of humour within that scene, and it was really cool. But then discovering that Guy that Jack was suspicious about had one of those communicators, just a smaller version, and had jumped hosts because they knew it was a way to preserve themselves, and Jack caught them walking away with the box. And to see the guy who was the horse, like, go into one of those tunnels as it was collapsing, I was like, holy jeez, that's like, oh, that's brutal. But like, this guy has probably, or this Tok'Ra has probably told the Goa'uld so many times where they were. So they've probably been running constantly trying to figure out, why do they always find us? And it was because of this one Tok'Ra that was basically lying to them and were working in conjunction with the Goa'uld, I guess. And they were like a double agent, basically. And they were on the council, which is like mental to think. They probably passed all of the plans and everything onto the Goa'uld in advance. The Goa'uld probably just took their time and thought, we'll wait this one out, give them a few weeks on this next place, and then we'll attack it, and then we'll do it again. So that was absolutely mad to know that there are, Tok'Ra that can turn against them, I guess. And, that conversation that Daniel was having about, maybe we do have something that they want, and maybe we can offer people in Sam's dad's position the same thing that Sam's dad had, like the opportunity to be healed, live longer, and voluntarily become a host. So going to be interesting to see if that actually comes to fruition at some point whilst watching through this. I think the lady Tok'Ra actually quite liked Jack, and that was actually quite funny because she always seemed to they had quite a funny rapport, actually. So that was really fun to watch, and just them being held prisoner there whilst, they were waiting to see what was going to happen because they didn't know what the Tok'Ra were going to do. And I just thought this was brilliant. Sam's dad's an interesting one because there's times where he's really stubborn, he seems quite strict, he seems like he doesn't really care, quite dismissive of Sam. And then we get scenes through this where it was completely different. And I thought, I actually quite like this guy. He made me laugh a few times, and he came across actually quite nice at the end. And I thought it was kind of a funny one with him. And he said himself, like, maybe this Tok'Ra will kind of smooth the edges a little bit and make him kind of less gruff, I guess, in a way. And, you know, I don't think I would, if I ever found myself in that position where someone said to me, you know, this is your fate, but you've got this opportunity to be this voluntary host and things, I don't personally think I could do it. I don't think I could. Like, my head's full of enough, like, random information as it is. I don't think it'd cope with anyone else's random information. So now we've got Sam's dad as a liaison between the Tok'Ra and Earth. It's going to be interesting to see how that progresses and how often we see the Tok'Ra, because they've now got an ID device like we gave to the guys where I think it was Gerwin lived with Thor and the chariot and the hammer and everything. So I'm going to sign off and say thank you, and I will see you guys later. So thank you.